What are some of the challenges of relying on technology as this enabler to fight resource scarcity or climate change? I mean, one of the things with eco-modernism is that it has to be applied with wisdom. So, picking and choosing the right technologies. I know there's some debate going on about, should we invest in this type of clean energy? Should we invest in nuclear? What are the chief challenges from your perspective?
Well, I mean, I think the conversation on the environment and energy has really shifted over the last, 5, maybe 10 years. And you have to remember, and even I look at the name of this conference, it's like energy, tech, sustainability. And I'm kind of like, what does sustainability have to do with innovation? I mean, the older idea was we were going to limit our consumption of energy and other resources. This kind of comes out of the 70s, small is beautiful. And we're going to just kind of limit ourselves, constrain ourselves. We'll kind of shrink our footprint, and then we'll ask poor countries to kind of do with less. I mean, that whole paradigm is just gone, right? Like nobody's asking, people in Africa to not have modern energy. There's still a bit of this kind of, well, we'll give them a solar panel on their hut. But I think that the big shift is people know that development is the main event, and that it happens sort of the same way everywhere. People leave the village, they go to the city, they get jobs in factories, women get income and they get empowered, they choose to have fewer kids, they stop using wood for fuel, the forests grow back, the wildlife returns. That's what's been happening in the United States and Europe for the last 100 years, starting to happen in other parts of the world, Asia, and China. So I don't think it's a technology, not technology. I think it's actually about, are you embracing a high energy planet? A planet where everybody gets to live a prosperous life, and we're going to be looking for ways to make that greener and cleaner? Or are you going to are you still stuck in kind of a low energy mentality with this idea that, well, we're all going to just massively reduce how much energy we consume? So I think under a high energy planet model, the big event is, there's resource efficiency, that's huge. You have to remember a lot of the efficiency that happens also enables energy consumption. All of the big breakthroughs, better lighting, better engines, they all make fuel cheaper and they allow those technologies to diffuse. I think the big thing that ends up, that people understand now is it's sort of the opposite of sustainability, what we want. What we want is innovation and moving up the energy ladder. So, going from using LPG is better than using wood for fuel or dung. Going from coal to natural gas. I mean, it's funny, now you think back to all the fracking protests, they've really died away, I think. There's now much stronger recognition that gas is better than coal. It's hard to find anybody that kind of argues with that. And then, of course, the big one, the one that still has so much emotion on it, is the transition to nuclear, and that uranium is a better fuel and for a whole bunch of reasons than natural gas. And that conversation really starts with Stuart Brand, Whole Earth Catalog, about 10 years ago. It's really been picking up steam now. My organization, which launched today, environmentalprogress.org, nonprofit, not funded by any economic interests, so we welcome your donations. We've gotten Jim Hansen, about 60 other climate scientists and prominent conservation scientists saying, hey, if we don't do something, we're going to lose our largest source of clean energy, which is nuclear power. And I don't think that's something that we would have seen even 2 or 3 years ago.